What's going on, guys? This is Prodigy, and today I'm making a quick video for you guys just to talk about a little something that was on my mind. Also switching it up a little bit today. I know I mostly post Call of Duty on this channel, but I don't want this to be a 100% Call of Duty channel. So switching it up a little bit today, playing some Rainbow Six Siege. I know it's still an FPS, but I like the game, so I'm gonna post a little bit. This is actually from some footage from the beta, not the actual game, but still fun to watch. Um, I know I mostly play FPSs because that's just kind of what I have grown to love, but I do enjoy other games, and I'm probably going to be posting some different types of gameplay on this channel. But for right now, FPSs take up a majority of my time, so that's mostly what you guys are going to see. So moving back into the topic of the video, what I want to talk about today is related to the gaming industry, particularly the competitive scene. And goes for any game, League of Legends, CSGO, Dota, Halo, Call of Duty, any game that has a competitive niche, you know, this video is kind of related to that. So what I wanted to talk about was, you know, do pro gamers deserve to make the money that they make? Pro gamers make a lot of money, especially if you're winning a lot. I believe the grand prize for the Call of Duty World Championship this year is around $3 million, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But that's a lot of money, especially to compare to people who, work quote unquote regular jobs. And, a lot of people feel like that's ridiculous for somebody to make that much money just by playing a game or whatever. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Do pro gamers deserve to make the amount of money that they make? And in short, my answer is yes, they do. And I'm also going to explain why I think that they deserve to make this much money. So I want to touch on a few points. The first of which being a pro gamer is not easy. All right. A lot of people seem to think that being a pro gamer is just, oh, I like playing games, so I'll just sit in my computer or sit on my front of my TV all day and just play games. Anybody could do it, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. Being a pro gamer, first of all, requires long hours, practice, just grinding, toning your skills and getting better at the game, whichever game it is that you play. And it is not easy. A lot of people think that, playing a game is just, playing a game and that, it doesn't require any skill, and which is not true at all. It requires loads of skill, loads of practice, long hours, long nights. And not everybody can do it. Not everybody has the patience. Not everybody has the desire, the determination, or the will to even put that much time into learning and playing that game. So that's why it is not easy to be a pro gamer. It takes a lot of intelligence as well and lots of skill. You have to be able to make good decisions depending on the game you're playing. You might also need good reflexes or reaction time. So the misconception that being a pro gamer is easy or lazy is completely ridiculous, because it's not the case at all. And the second point that I kind of wanted to touch on was that being a pro gamer is, despite what people think, is a real job or a real occupation. It's not technically a job, but it is in real occupation, because just because you're not, at your traditional 9 to 5 job, sitting behind a desk every day, clocking in and out every day, does not mean that you're not working a real job. Lots of people don't work your traditional real jobs, yet they still contribute to society, and pro gamers do contribute to society. They are fulfilling a need for people, and that need is entertainment. People are entertained by watching games, even video games. That's why people like to watch, basketball games, football games, because people have a need of entertainment. And this is just one of many areas that provide that entertainment for people to, watch and enjoy. And, gamers, they do have to put in work. They put in lots of work, kind of like I was saying before. They spend long hours each day, practicing the game, playing the game, and, just grinding and trying to constantly get better so that their skills can develop and they can be better at their particular game and develop their skill set. So it is definitely a real job or a real occupation, because, like I said before, they're fulfilling a need, they're putting in the work, and they deserve to get compensated for whatever it is they do. And now that we're talking about them being compensated, I want to kind of segue that into my last point, which is pro gamers are paid based on supply and demand. All right, so I'm going to use pro sports as an analogy for this. Let's take an NBA basketball team for example. You have the Miami Heat and then you have the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, so the Miami Heat is a pretty popular team because Miami is a pretty popular city, and compared to Minnesota and the Timberwolves, they're not as popular, but they're still a popular team, but not comparable to Miami on the same level. So Miami naturally brings in more revenue. They have more people at their games, more people watch them on TV, more people buy their merchandise, more people are buy snacks when they're at the arenas. More people are buying Miami Heat gear, things of that nature. So they bring in a lot of money, whereas people go to the Minnesota Timberwolves games, but not in nearly as much as the Miami Heat. So they still make money, but they make a lot less money than the Miami Heat organization. So naturally, if you're a player, if you're a basketball player and you're trying to go to the NBA, the Miami Heat will more than likely offer you more money than could the Minnesota Timberwolves simply because they can afford to. And all of that is completely left up to the teams themselves. The NBA is a privately owned company, so they can pay you, each team can pay you whatever they want. And so because of that, they're going to pay you based off of the amount of money that they make as a team, as an organization. So bringing this back to gaming, these companies that are responsible for these games, they are their own entities. They can charge their quote unquote workers or gamers in this case, they can pay them whatever they want. If in theory they could pay them 100% of their profits if they wanted to. Of course, they're not going to do that, but the amount of money that they're paid is completely up to them. There's no rules that say you can't pay them this much. They're their own company. They can make their own decisions in regards to that. So if a company makes a lot of money on selling their game, you know, if they make more money, then they're probably going to be able to pay their players, their competitive players, more money than they have in previous years, for example. And, a lot of people like to take this and compare it to like military personnel, for example. Like, well, why do athletes make more than military people? That shouldn't be like that. But you got to understand the military and other things like that are government operated corporations and positions. These companies are owned privately and run privately, so that they have nothing to do with the military or any other people. And the same thing applies to gamers. These companies, their payment is left completely up to them. So, I mean, if you really want military people to make more money, then that's something you have to take up with the government because these companies have no control over that. They pay their players based off of the demand that the public has for these games. Like I was saying before, these gamers are only reason they're playing this game on this level is because people want to see it. They're tuning in, they're watching the championship matches, they're buying the game, they're playing the game, and by hosting these competitive tournaments and things like that, they're bringing more exposure to their game, and which is interesting to people. People like to see that, and it helps their game grow. So they're going to continue to pay these players and host these tournaments and sponsor these tournaments as long as it continues to benefit their game. It's all supply and demand because that's how our economy works. So to sum that all up, basically, I think pro gamers deserve every bit of money that they make. They work hard for it, they play hard for it, but yeah, there's no reason for them not to be able to make as much money as possible as long as the company is willing to pay them. Because, in the end, it's a win-win for both companies, for both parties. The players are winning, obviously, because they're making money by playing this game, and the company's making money because they're gaining exposure and, they're able to, bring exposure to their game and have more people be aware of it and possibly even buy it and play it themselves. So it's a win-win for both parties. So I don't see any problem with it, and I encourage anybody who had a problem with it before to kind of look at it from this perspective and see that, you know, this is how the economy works, and, you know, that's just kind of how things are. So that's all for today's video, guys. I kind of just wanted to talk about something a little bit different, you know, something that was on my mind. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. But that's all for today, guys. This is Prodigy. Thanks for watching.